Welcome to Chair Yoga episode number 2. Today's class is all about standing balance. So grab yourself a nice sturdy chair and we'll get started. We're going to begin today's class by standing behind our chair. So make sure that your chair is sturdy and that you do have just a little bit of room to move around for today's balanced chair yoga practice. So we'll start with our hands on the back of the chair. And for this first part, feel free to keep both hands on the chair, or you can take one or both hands off if you're feeling comfortable with your stability. Take a nice big breath in as you reach up, maybe with just your right hand. If it feels fine for you, lift your left hand off, reaching both hands to the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the chair. Inhale, lift your left arm up, start to back bend, open up your chest and shoulders, maybe lift the right arm. And then exhale, bring both hands back to your chair. Take a nice big step backward, keeping your hands on the chair as we sink into a standing puppy pose. So you're going to start to let your head drop between your arms. Let your chest start to sink towards the floor here with just a nice soft bend in your knees. Tipping your sitting bones up towards the roof, and it won't seem like they're going way to the roof, but they are getting a nice little turn here as you extend through your spine. Taking a few more nice deep breaths here. Perfect. Stepping back up to come behind your chair. And we're going to move through that back bending series again. So inhale, lifting your right arm up, maybe lifting your left, reach back. And exhale, bring your hands back to your chair. Inhale, lift your left arm up, maybe taking your right off the chair. And then exhale, bring your hands back to your chair. Take a nice big step back as we sink back into our standing puppy pose. Letting your neck feel relaxed here as you sink down towards the floor, tipping your bum up, softening your knees. Breathing deep. Perfect, and then stepping back up to your chair. We're going to use our chair for balance as we come into Malasana stretch or a deep squat. So taking your legs a little bit wider than shoulder width apart here. And just use your chair for balance, but just take a note of how much movement your chair does have. This chair isn't super heavy, so I can't put a lot of weight into it, but you could also use your desk here if you need, as we use our chair to come down into a nice low squat position, just providing us with a little bit of balance. So you can hold on in any place that works for you. We can bow our head here, relax our neck as you let your tail sink towards the floor. Perfect. And then we can use our chair to help lift ourselves back up out of Malasana, coming back behind our chair, standing nice and tall. Take a big long step back with your right leg as you drop into a nice high lunge here. So start to bend your left leg, possibly lifting your right arm off the floor here as you push your back right heel towards the floor, but it shouldn't be able to touch the ground here. So if it can touch the ground, try to walk your back leg or your front leg a little further apart so that you have a bit more split in your legs. Maybe looking up towards the roof. Breathe nice and deep. Perfect. Replace your hand back to the chair. Stepping back up, coming behind your chair as we shift into a little bit more challenging balance posture with warrior three. So putting your weight on your left foot, stretch your right foot out, and you can push forward a little bit with the chair here if it will move. As you reach back through your toes in the right foot, like you're wearing high-heeled shoes. So not pointing your toes, not flexing your foot. It's really somewhere in between. Your head between your arms. Breathe with a slight bend in your supporting leg here so your glutes are activated. Perfect. Stepping back up to the top. Maybe just pull your chair back in a little bit here if you were sliding it forward. Perfect. We're going to move through that back bending breathing exercise that we started with again. So let's take a nice big inhale, reach your right arm up, start to bend back, maybe lifting your left arm as well. Exhale, release, bring your hand or hands back to the chair. Inhale, lifting your left arm back, bending, maybe the right. Exhale as you bring your hands back to the chair. Stepping back to drop back into puppy stretch, sinking your chest. Perfect. Stepping back up to the chair. One more time, going through that round of breathing exercises, lifting the right hand up, maybe adding the left. Exhale as your hands come back for balance. Inhale, lifting the left arm up, possibly the right, reach back, and exhale, hands coming back to your chair. Once again, stepping back as you drop into a nice puppy stretch here. Opening up through the chest, the shoulders, providing your lower back with a nice stretch. Opening up through the armpits. And getting a nice stretch through your latissimus dorsi or your big back muscles. Perfect. Stepping back up to your chair. And we're going to sink back down into malasana. And I'm just going to face forward so that you can see a little bit better here. So essentially, I'm going to hold on to my chair for balance, but this could be anything. You could be grabbing for your desk. If you're near a railing in your house, you could use a railing, your kitchen counter, whatever you have to stay steady. And of course, if you didn't need the chair for balance for this posture, you could definitely let go of the chair and bring both hands to your heart. Relax your neck a little bit here. Perfect, and let's stand back up to the top. Coming behind our chair is we come into the lunge on the left side now. So take a big long step back with your left leg. Start to bend through the right knee and then possibly lifting the left arm up here. Maybe looking up to the roof if your balance is feeling really good, and you might find that your balance is a little bit more steady because you're holding on to the chair. Maybe you wouldn't normally take your eyes up to the roof, but you can for today. But of course, eyes just looking straight ahead or even down to the floor is always a fine option. Perfect. Hands back to the chair as you step back up, and then coming into warrior number 3. So start to step away from your chair. Put the weight in your right foot as you start to sweep and kick your left foot out behind you. Maybe extending a little bit with the arms. See how my chair shifts forward just a little bit. Pressing through the toes, reaching through the fingertips, bending my supporting leg a little bit, trying to be as straight as possible. And this is an excellent way to practice Warrior 3 for those that can do it without the chair as well, to really help find a good position. Perfect. Stepping back up. And then we're going to turn our chair for the next posture, just adjusting a little bit here. So coming into triangle pose, and you could still decide to do this one from behind the chair, especially if you're not as flexible. So as we stand in the same position, facing our chair, take a big step back with your right leg, and you're going to turn it flat. Okay, so as if you were on a yoga mat, and when we're facing our chair, that's our forward, stepping back with the right leg, turning it flat to your mat or your floor. Maybe you're on your yoga mat. And then we're gonna rest our left hand on the chair as we start to straighten the front leg, but not locking the kneecap here, just straightening and lifting, so really flexing your thigh. And then take your right hand up towards the roof. as we aim to roll our chest and shoulders open, turning our belly button towards the roof in triangle pose. If you feel that you want to go a little bit deeper, start to bend your left elbow, and that's going to drop you down a little bit further. Perfect. Come on back up. And then from here, if you can, use your core muscles to lift yourself all the way back up to the top. And then relax your arms. Good. And then you're just going to step across your chair so that your left leg is forward and your right foot is still flat. Spread the legs as much as you can. And if that means that you can come and find just not really sitting on the chair, but almost just kind of just hovering above it. And by hovering, part of your body is going to touch. You're just not resting into the chair. Okay, so we're using the chair for a little bit of support, but allowing us to get nice and deep. Stretch through the arms. Look out over your left fingers. Breathe here. Perfect. And then from here, you can just have a seat on the chair and switch on over to the opposite side. So we're going to come back into triangle pose on the opposite side here. So if I start standing with my body facing the chair, I'm going to step back with my left leg and turn it flat. My right toes are still going to be pointing towards my chair. I reach down to hold my chair for balance. Start to straighten the front leg. And when you're ready, lift the left arm up. Your eyes can look to the roof here, but if that bothers your neck, you definitely can turn and look down towards your toes. And if we work with a straight right arm here, this is a little bit easier, or not as deep of a triangle. To make it more challenging or to take you a little bit deeper, start to bend the elbow. But don't bend it so far that it means you start to roll forward in your triangle. We do want to try to be as open and as straight as possible. So sometimes a little bit higher position on the bottom hand is actually going to give you a much better position. Perfect. Inhale, lift to come all the way up. Perfect. And then we're going to come back into that warrior two position on the opposite side. So just sneak around your chair as you start to split the legs. Again, your back foot is flat, your front toes are straight ahead, and just keep sinking down until you get to that place that you're as low as you can get. You're not quite sitting right on your bum, but you definitely feel a little pressure under your thighs on the chair. And if you're unsure, go into that resting place and then engage and pull away from the chair. You'll notice the difference. Tuck your belly button in. Look out over your right fingers. Breathe nice and deep. Perfect. And then come to have a seat on your chair. As we finish with one seated posture today, and you might be more comfortable here with your legs just a little bit shoulder width apart, or maybe even potentially a little bit wider. Take a nice reach up, breathe up. Maybe find a little bit of a back bend here as you press your back at the edge of the chair. And then let yourself relax and fold forward. Let your arms hang heavy like a rag doll here. Let your neck relax and release. This could also be reaching your arms behind the back of your legs or taking a hold of the chair legs themselves. And then slowly coming back up to seated. Thank you so much for joining today's chair yoga practice. This is a great practice for anybody that has some stability issues, has a little bit of trouble with their balance, just doesn't feel so sure on their feet. But it's also a great way that you can take a little breather from work, do a little stretching at your desk, and also work on some of those postures that are really challenging. Having that little bit of extra balance help can definitely make some of those postures easier when you come to your mat in wide open spaces. We'll finish today's practice with our hands at our heart. And the way that we say thank you to one another is we bow our heads and we say Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thanks for joining.